Something strange was happening on a quiet hill in Italy. It wasn't just another film set. The wind carried a silence that felt alive, heavy with emotion. Cameras were rolling, Roman soldiers stood ready, and somewhere nearby, an actor prepared to step into the most sacred story ever told. But this time it didn't feel like acting. It felt real, too real. People started crying, and no one could explain why. The hill looked eerily like Jerusalem. It had been chosen as the location for one of the most emotional scenes ever filmed for The Chosen, the Crucifixion of Jesus. What made this place even more haunting was its history. Years ago, it was used for the Passion of the Christ. The ground had already seen a story of suffering and love. Maybe that's why it felt different. Maybe that's why everyone there felt something they couldn't describe. From the moment the crew arrived, everything changed. Normally, a film set is buzzing with laughter, chatter, and jokes. But not this time. The air was thick with silence. No one was being silly. No one could. The moment they stepped onto that hill, they felt something sacred. One crew member said it didn't even feel like work anymore. It felt like church. The series creator, Dallas Jenkins, had once doubted the show would even make it past the first season. Yet here they were, standing on holy ground, about to film the hardest and most powerful moment of all, the crucifixion. For Dallas, it wasn't just a scene. It was a calling. He had promised to show Jesus not as a distant figure in stained glass, but as someone deeply human, someone people could love and understand. As the cameras began to roll, everyone knew this would change them. The tension was so thick that you could almost hear hearts beating. Even those behind the camera couldn't hold back their emotions. One swing of the hammer against wood broke the silence. The sound echoed across the hill like thunder. Then came tears. Not just from actors, but from extras, camera operators, even makeup artists. Some people turned away. Others covered their mouths. But no one could pretend it was just a movie anymore. Jonathan Roumie, who plays Jesus, didn't speak much that day. He didn't need to. His presence alone carried weight. When he was raised on the cross, the emotion hit everyone like a wave. The soldier holding the hammer hesitated, trembling. Mary stood nearby, shaking. The extras playing the disciples cried quietly. Behind the monitor, Dallas Jenkins stood frozen, eyes full of tears. He wasn't just watching a scene unfold. He was witnessing something sacred. It's easy to forget that these are actors, that this is a set. But in that moment, it wasn't. It was something beyond performance, something holy. When filming finally stopped, no one clapped. There was no cheering, no applause, no high fives, just silence. Dallas softly told everyone they could take a break, but nobody moved. It was as if their hearts were still on that cross. Finally, someone suggested they eat, but not in the cafeteria or trailers. They stayed right there, still in costume, still weeping, still carrying the moment inside them. They sat on the ground, disciples, Roman soldiers, women, crew members, and shared bread and water. No one spoke much. A few sniffles broke the silence. One actor whispered that it felt like communion. Another said it felt too real to explain. The man who played the soldier couldn't even look at Jonathan. He said he felt like he needed to ask for forgiveness. What had started as a scene had turned into something sacred, a shared moment of brokenness and love. Later that night, Jonathan Roumie posted a photo on Instagram. It showed him standing beside the cross they used for filming. His caption was simple but heavy with meaning. He asked for prayers for himself and the entire cast and crew. He said it was the most demanding work he had ever done, not because of the physical exhaustion, but because of the emotional and spiritual weight. You could tell something had changed inside him. Other cast members replied. One said she cried all night after filming. Another said she still felt the weight of the day days later. Fans didn't need details. They said they could feel the emotion just from the image. It was one of those rare moments where a post doesn't shout but still speaks volumes. Jonathan later admitted he had trained hard for this season, sacrificing time, comfort, and sleep to portray Jesus with authenticity. But all that training couldn't prepare him for what he experienced that day. It wasn't acting anymore, it was surrender. It was worship. While much of the attention naturally goes to Jonathan, Dallas Jenkins quietly carried his own burden. He wasn't just directing a show, he was leading a spiritual experience. Every decision, every line, every camera angle came with prayer and responsibility. During the crucifixion scenes, he didn't leave the set once. He stood through every take, tears running down his face. Sometimes he prayed aloud. Sometimes he just stood there, silent, letting the weight of the moment wash over him. A crew member later said Dallas cried more that week than he ever had before. Not because of stress or exhaustion, but because something sacred was happening before his eyes. He wasn't just watching actors perform. He was witnessing hearts breaking open, faith being renewed, and a story coming alive in a way that no script could capture. Dallas's wife, Amanda, flew in to be with him. She knew what this scene meant. She had seen how much her husband had poured into this project. His faith, his hope, his tears. Even strong people need support, especially when telling a story as heavy and holy as this one. When filming wrapped for the day, Dallas called it the hardest but most beautiful experience of his career. During a live stream later, he said something that deeply moved viewers. This wasn't just direction, it was devotion. That single line summed it all up. The crucifixion scene wasn't about cameras, budgets, or scripts. It was about faith, love, and sacrifice. It was about capturing not just what happened, but what it meant. Season 6 of The Chosen will focus on the final days of Jesus' life, the betrayal, the cross, and the victory of love. Dallas has called it the most emotionally difficult season to make, not because of schedules or money, but because of the spiritual weight of the story. The small leaked clips have already moved millions to tears. If just a glimpse can touch hearts so deeply, imagine what the full film will do. But perhaps the most unforgettable moment wasn't even in the script. It was that quiet meal after the crucifixion scene. The bread, the silence, the tears. Dallas later said it was the most real meal he had ever shared on set. No cameras, no lighting, no rehearsals. Just people who had lived through something sacred together. A dinner that felt like communion. A moment of worship hidden inside a day of work. Since that day, the cast and crew have described the experience as life-changing. Extras traveled from across the world to be part of it, some from Alaska, others from small towns nearby. They came not just to act, but to witness. One extra said, "It's not about religion, it's about love." And maybe that's what makes this project so powerful. It reaches across differences, faiths, and backgrounds to touch something universal. The human longing for meaning, for connection, for God. Jonathan Roumie carried that emotion quietly. Even after filming ended, he stayed in character, not out of pride but reverence. His eyes told the story. They carried both sorrow and peace, like someone who had walked through fire and come out changed. And that's exactly what this story is about. Transformation. The cross wasn't just a scene. It was a moment that reminded everyone there that love, real love, costs something. It breaks you, humbles you, and rebuilds you. What happened on that hill wasn't just filmmaking, it was faith in action. So when people ask what really happened during that crucifixion scene, the answer is simple. It stopped being a performance and became a prayer. Every tear, every pause, every trembling hand told a story that no words could fully capture, and maybe that's the point. Maybe this isn't just about a show or an actor or even a director. Maybe it's about remembering that some stories are too sacred to simply tell. They have to be felt, in silence, in tears, and in the beating of your heart long after the cameras stop.